Well, hello and welcome back to another episode of Star Trek Europa. It has been, I think, about 8 weeks since our last session, which is a couple weeks longer than we wanted it to be, but some stuff has come up. Um, there might be a couple breaks in this session just because I'm cooking at the moment and might have to take a couple breaks so I don't burn my house down. But let's go ahead and introduce the crew since it's been a little while and we would do it every episode anyways. Let's start with Ev. What's going on?
Hi, I'm Ev. I am Caffeinatrix on TikTok. I am playing Dr. Dasave Onayet as well as um, Rebecca O'Connor, one of our science officers, and Fiona Mills, one of our security officers.
Anything else you want to promote? Or are you good?
I'm good.
All right. Brian, go ahead.
My name is Brian. I'm playing a couple of characters, including Yezabeth Page, the Trill ensign. And I have nothing to promote.
Cool. Jack, as always, I'm certain you have some things you want to bring up.
Yes, hello, I'm Jack. You may know me from over at twitch.tv/The People's Ascension and our associated YouTube channel. I run a series called RPGs Uncovered, a series dedicated to showing just how quick and easy it can be to learn a new RPG. We just wrapped up season 3 of that series. We looked at Lost Eons, a solar punk post-apocalypse, post-humanity solar punk game. Really interesting game. So if you're looking for new games, if you want new ideas, if you just want a cool new show to watch, you should come over to my channel, twitch.tv/The People's Ascension. Go check that out. We also, the whole point of the secondary point of that show is, of course, teaching the game. I should say the primary point is teaching the game. So we also have bite-sized tutorials for you to look at and reference guides. But that is not actually all I want to talk about. I'm going to be saying more things today, as I usually do than the others. I don't know how much we want to get into it here, but I am running a charity event through the entire month of June. It is a charity drive in support of reproductive rights and abortion access. It is going to be through the entire month of June, starting July. Starting on the 3rd, Sunday the 3rd. It is, let me see if I can bring that up. Here we go. Here's a little flyer, at least down in my my screen. It's reversed. Okay. Let's see if I can fix that real quick.
We can put a link to it too.
There you go.
Yeah, well, you can find more information about this on my Twitter. That is at PPLS Ascension, because my name's too long for Twitter. But you can find a lot of information there. I am actually still looking for game creators, GMs, players, sponsors, any sort of businesses, creators, artists, music providers that might want to provide merchandise or services as part of donation goal giveaway incentives. So if you would at all like to be a part of that, come hang out in our Discord. You can find links on my site or on our Twitter and get in touch with me. And if you are watching this or listening to this in the future and it is July, come stop by. We're running games every Wednesday, Thursday, and Sunday at the very least. Though I have plans to fill the entire month. I will run as many games as I have GMs and games for. So be on the lookout for that and go support. This particular charity is in support particularly of the National Abortion Federation and the Center for Reproductive Rights. But there are so many other important smaller organizations that function locally that you can donate to. There is the National Abortions Funds that you can donate to. And there are so many other great charity events that are going on right now, which I will be promoting, even if they conflict with my own, over on my Twitter. So come hang out if you want to get involved in any way at all.
Doesn't matter where you support as long as you support.
Yes, exactly. Anyway, we're playing Star Trek today. I think that's why we're here, unless we're out of time already.
No, not yet.
I play Captain Ambrose, as well as other fun characters like the hot-headed Jisa Shijin, who is currently stranded on a board planet and angry at everybody.
Right. All right. As for the fundraisers and stuff, I fully support the idea, and I may have some things we can contribute. both as my shop and as the Europa stream and or as Studio Tembo. In the meantime, I am your game master as always, Jeff Harvey, and you can find me in all the places that are Studio Tembo, including Patreon. Please support the show on Patreon if you have the means, and if you don't, just share, like, subscribe, whatever you want to do. Whatever you can do helps support the show in a lot of ways, either audio or check us out on YouTube. The show also is airs alongside of the Continuing Conversations and STA Engage podcast. So anything you do to help this show also helps that show, and vice versa. So with that said, my current playing is this little cube thing that I need to put down before I get distracted and don't play the game. Let's go ahead and do a recap of where we last left off. And while you guys are doing that, I have to step away for just a second, but go ahead and do the recap.
All right, cool. We picked up where we left off at the end of the last episode with our shuttle that had Jisa, Kendall, and O'Connor on it being sucked into a wormhole. They found themselves stranded aboard a planet, had very little vegetation, had high CO2 content, was indicative of some sort of industrialized society, but they really couldn't find any life signs of anything larger than the predatory and prey animals they were finding. They took shelter in a cave overnight, and then Jisa got the shuttle back up running briefly. It was super volatile, but they got it running long enough to take them into an area that should have had some industrialization, but instead had kind of a crater where it looked like a city used to be. And as they were searching through the structures, Kendall came across a symbol on a wall that was obscured by dust, and when she wiped it off, was Jeff, do you have that? You want to pop it up?
It's up. I showed it to you guys too.
It's
so
up. Okay, there you go. That thing. On the ship, they were sending out a daisy chain of probes to try and get a lock on where the shuttle was. They did determine it had gone through a wormhole. They managed to open the wormhole up again, and sent the last probe in. The wormhole closed on it, and they were still getting some sort of signal, but it was very degraded. There was also some issue with Dasavi getting angry at a comment Silva made about not sending good money after bad, and the captain and XO having to have a talk about her ability to put her personal feelings aside and run multiple departments as needed, and Delphine inviting herself to the officers' meeting and declaring herself as head of the medbay, and Ambrose telling Dasavi to get her people in line.
right.
I miss anything?
It sounds right to me. You guys got anything? All right. Does anyone have anything they want to start with, or do we want to just jump into some other stuff? All right. Let's go ahead and start on the planet with Jisa and company. You guys, last I recall, you were standing in front of the large structure where you had discovered the symbol. I don't remember if anyone had anyone identified the symbol by then, or were you guys still not sure?
We recognized it as Borg.
Yes. So with that, in the distance, you can also begin to hear a storm rolling in. So the planet is kind of hot. You're in this desolate urban area that is largely ruins of steel structures and girders, concrete that is crumbling all around you. And then not too far ahead of you is the beginning of this large cratered space where clearly something at one time was. You may recall from your time at the academy or any experiences that you may have had prior to the 2065-ish, when this is the kind of thing that was being seen when the Borg were scooping up worlds and creating, assimilating whole swaths of space. The storm in the distance is coming in. It's probably a few hours off, but it's definitely heavy electrical activity and things like that. There's definitely an acrid smell in the air as well. Do you guys have anything you want to do while you're here?
I think we were here looking for parts to repair the shuttle.
I believe
Yes.
so.
We were trying to restore the communications, or no, we were trying to restore the engines. We had broken the communications, and we were trying to restore the engines.
Right.
It's a point of disagreement for us.
Right.
Right.
All right. Well, let's do a quick roll. Build up some momentum. You guys have 3 momentum at the moment, but let's go ahead and build up some more. Let's say the difficulty is going to be 1 to find parts that are suitably able to be modified to make repairs upon the ship. Let's see. I need to look at a character sheet because it's been a while. Whoops, that's not what I want. Let's look at someone who isn't even there, but I just want to see the sheet. So go ahead and make for me, somebody, a insight and engineering roll.
That will not be me. Not this character.
I do not think we brought along anybody who was particularly good at engineering.
Right.
So,
Jisa has some engineering.
oh, okay, great.
Now you guys can assist as well.
Okay.
That probably should also not be me.
So I forgot about this. I have the talent precautions. You prepare for the worst just in case. Once per scene, when an ally suffers an injury or a ship suffers a breach, you may prevent that injury or breach. Would being able to, that wouldn't be applicable in this situation.
Doesn't sound like it.
No, that would have come in handy for earlier when Jisa burned her antenna, though.
Now that I think about it, I think I did bring it up earlier. I may have failed or something.
Oh, maybe.
But,
Maybe that's why she got mad.
All right, so go ahead and make the let's have Jisa go ahead and make the roll to see if we can find any parts. Difficulty is 1. And if anyone wants to assist.
Could I make an argument for using daring instead of insight? Because I don't care if these are Starfleet, up to Starfleet standards. I will cannibalize whatever parts I need to fix this.
Sure.
Okay. Daring engineering. No focus.
Kendall is certainly not in the mood to be assisting Jissa with anything right now, so
Yeah.
I'm going to pass.
Well, I guess that's me anyway then.
In the chat for you guys, I'm going to add a link. This is not in the main chat, just in the Zoom chat. This is a link with some equipment that you guys may or may not have access to at the moment, but just some rules for equipment. All right, what do we got? 3 successes, it looks like. Difficulty was 1, so that is 2 successes. That is 2 momentum. And you definitely find some parts that you're pretty certain will do a fine job of at least getting the ship basically functional. It's a lot of scrounging around you. As you're looking for the parts, you're coming across a lot of evidence of life, of former life, things like discarded utensils and bits of scrap paper, just the remnants of life, stuffed animals, that kind of thing, clearly indicating that at one time there were people here, and there was a thriving society of some variety. No, I don't want to do that yet. So anything else anyone wants to say here? Any role playing anyone wants to do during this scene? You're finding the parts for sure. You have to take them back to the shuttle, obviously, and do the work, but you're definitely locating the parts, and you have all of that going on.
What
Right,
is
Kendall. All right, Kendall, if you're just going to stand there and sulk, I want you keeping an eye out.
It's hard for me to keep my eyes on all the people who want to shoot me. But she will still do it.
What were you going to say, Ev?
I was just gonna ask what Kendall was doing while we were searching, but
Yeah, she's looking out. She would have been doing that already. I just wanted to get a quip.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Kendall, while you're out and looking about, while you're looking around while they're looking for things, in the distance, as the storm is going over, not coming to you yet, but out in the distance, you think, you're not certain, but you think you spot what might be something in like something in the atmosphere near the storm, some kind of mechanical device unknown as to what you can't tell what it is from this distance, but something up there is moving in a way that is definitely not biological.
Can I try to get a reading on it with science?
Yeah.
Okay. I would like to use a momentum on this.
Okay.
Sorry, just a second. Do I get the advantage for the tricorder, or is the difficulty including the tricorder?
No, go ahead and use the tricorder. I don't think I said difficulty. The difficulty is going to be 2, so standard difficulty.
Okay. All right.
Two. So with the advantage of the tricorder, that's a 1. So you have 1 momentum, or 1 question you can ask. It is definitely mechanical. It has signatures that are fairly similar to the Borg, if not identical.
Okay. I'll quickly tell the others. I'm reading Borg signatures in that storm. I don't know what it is, but I think it wants to assimilate us. And then for my Q&A, for my question, can I get how long it's going to be till it reaches us?
The storm is about an hour and a half away or so. Whatever the ship is, it doesn't appear to be moving. It doesn't appear to be moving towards you necessarily so much as it is moving at the edge of the storm, doing something with the storm. So roughly the same period of time.
When you say doing something to the storm, it's like
something with the storm. It's hard to say what it's doing exactly. It's almost like it's harnessing, like hurting the storm, I guess.
I would like to spend another momentum to ask what it's doing to the storm.
As far as you can tell, as I said, it's almost it's like it's harvesting the energy of the storm, the sheer raw electrical energy of the storm.
Okay, it looks like that ship is leeching off the storm somehow. Some kind of harvester, maybe.
All right, that storm looks big and it's moving fast. I don't think we can outrun it. Not with the shuttle. I wouldn't push it.
We hunker down here. Is there anything that we could use for cover?
If there was anything to use for cover, I think the original inhabitants would have used it. It's well pitted out by now. I think our best chance is to hunker down in the shuttle. I might be able to do something with the shields to help mask our life signs. That's the best I can think of.
There is a high level of ion radiation in the storm, so sensors, anything that's in the storm, sensors aren't going to work real good, and you can't really penetrate the storm very well, the storm itself. So you would assume that once you're inside the shuttle, once the storm is overhead, no one's going to be able to detect you, as long as you have something solid to survive underneath or inside of the cave or whatever.
We are at the edge of the city, right?
Yeah,
that's where we said. Kendall is going to think for a moment, and then she's going to put her hand up. What if we use the cargo, the anti-grav cargo couplings to move the shuttle into one of the shelter of one of the buildings? Might give us some more cover from an ion storm.
Are there that was kind of my question. Are there actual buildings, or is it just ruin?
There aren't really any actual buildings left. You might be able to find enough debris that the shuttle might fit under, like some knocked over concrete or whatever, But there wouldn't really be any substantial. There's no real buildings left.
Sure, but cover would be fine. That's mainly what I was.
Right. Right.
And we're far away from the cave that we stayed in before that we can't get back to that in a relatively safe amount of time.
Not on foot anyway. No. Did you guys take?
Kendall?
You guys took the shuttle over here, right? You did
Yeah.
take the shuttle over here. Yeah.
But I had to cross 2 phasers together and
Right.
just blowing everything up to do it. So
Yep.
I'm pretty sure at this point we can't push it.
And there was a complication, as I recall, that went along with that. So.
Kendall will quickly begin putting her plan into practice without waiting for permission from anyone, and she will go get like the little things that attach to crates so you can move them. But she'll take enough of them and just start putting them on the sides of the shuttle to hopefully give the shuttle enough lift that we can move it into cover.
Okay.
Mills just kind of looks at Visa and shrugs like, well, better than no idea, and goes to help.
Yeah.
Jisa will just nod in that direction, and as they are, I assume, slowly moving a whole shuttle with a cargo jack, Jisa's going to get in the shuttle, and I would like to see if there's any way I could set the frequency of the shield arrays and maybe because I believe our shields and even our phasers might still be fine. It was largely engines and communications. And I think I originally had that idea, and the power systems just blew when I tried to cross those systems, but I believe they're still active. Could I try to use any combination of those two to make the frequency of the shield arrays ionize the local atmosphere to match the storm?
Sure.
I'd like to increase that incrementally so that the Borg don't detect us before the storm gets it.
All right. Give me a daring and engineering roll, and I will again be right back because I got to go stir some stuff because that's the kind of day it is. This
would probably count as creating advantage if you have any talents or anything that apply to that.
I would agree with that.
Well, Brian, you are more knowledgeable of this system than I. What does that mean?
So that means that whatever you succeed by, it's halved, and then that sets the base difficulty to detect us by that much. So, if you have anything that gives if you have any talents that if you create advantage, you can spend momentum to create advantage as well. So that's good.
No.
Okay.
No, unfortunately not. I don't think precise evasion is going to help here.
I mean, it is a type of evasion.
Yeah.
It might. It's always good to read the wording, that kind of thing.
It wouldn't be in the spirit of why I took it.
Fair enough.
Right. Get your roll. In about 15 minutes, we're going to take a slightly longer break.
Okay.
Let's see. Daring, engineering. What momentum are we sitting at? Because this is important.
3 currently, and I'm going to say your difficulty is presently probably 3. Because because what you're doing is not that difficult. So I'm going to say your difficulty is still 2, normal difficulty. But you have 3 momentum.
So is it? So if it's a create advantage, the difficulty is 2 to create what kind of advantage? 1?
Yes.
Okay, so if he succeeds by more than 1 or more than 2, he can create additional advantage.
I think so. That's a rule I'm not 100% sure on. That would have to be create advantage requires 2 additional momentum for each time you want to do it. So if you got 4, you could do it twice.
So basically, for every 2 successes, he creates an additional advantage.
You can, yes.
Yeah. Okay.
So for every 2 over the difficulty. So I don't only need to hit the difficulty, I need to exceed it by 2.
No, if you hit the difficulty, which is 2, you get 1 advantage.
Okay.
If you can then spend momentum, just like you can spend momentum on anything else you can do. One of the things you can spend momentum on is create advantage. So if you roll 2, you succeed. If you rolled 4 momentum, you could then spend 2 additional momentum to gain You could spend your 2 additional momentum to gain an advantage,
Right.
which would be then 2 advantages.
Okay. Well, I will spend. It's been so long. It's 1 momentum to gain your first extra die, right?
Correct.
Correct.
Okay. I will spend that 1 momentum to get 3 dice.
Okay.
Can I roll for the shuttle to assist?
Yeah, that's fine.
There it is.
Okay. Sensors, so sensor science maybe?
Yeah, that makes sense. So you have 1 additional momentum. So you gain your momentum back.
All right.
And yes, over the span of maybe about 10 or 15 minutes or so, you manage to ionize the navigational deflector system enough that the ship's hull is matched signature-wise to the storm. Right? That's what you wanted to do?
Yeah.
Okay. To make sure that I understand your sciencey jumbo.
Yeah, basically incrementally. So it's not like we're there and then
Right.
we disappear. It's incrementally over time so that they don't notice
Right.
the absence either.
Right. That's why I said about 15 minutes or so. You guys do manage to get the shuttle hidden underneath, mostly hidden under some debris. And as you're going, the ionization of the hull changes, and it actually starts to affect the
Grav lift.
the grav lifts, but not necessarily in a negative way. It's just kind of, you can see they're beginning to spurt and whatnot, but you haven't gone so far as that they're gonna fail.
Okay.
You're definitely putting a strain on them once you get under there. But once you're under there, you don't need anything else. So you guys duck back in the shuttle, and unless you have something else you want to do, you'll wait for the storm.
Yep. Hunker down.
All right. Let's go back. Let's go back to we have 4 groups on the map, and I don't remember what they were all doing. What were Tong and Coaster doing?
They were working on the
daisy chain.
daisy chain.
Sorry, the what?
The daisy chain.
The daisy chain, right? Okay. So we don't need them right at the moment. What about the SSH? Is that what we called them? And the and Vren. I think you guys were having you guys.
Oh, considering I'm both of them.
Yeah. Well, I remember what was going on. That was you guys were trying to break down some the findings that you guys had for the languages.
Mm-hmm.
So let's go back to the bridge. You had gotten the daisy chain going, and then you had discovered all of the wreckage, which is the reason you guys were there in the first place. Do you have anything else that anyone remembers that they were trying to do on the bridge before we get into the new stuff? All right.
I don't think so.
Okay.
I think we were just waiting for a plan to come to fruition.
Right. So while you guys are Team Daisy Chain, what was I going with that? Oh, the team, the Daisy Chain team had basically gotten everything completed, as I recall. You were just having to reopen the wormhole in order to get more information. What I was going to do last session, but didn't because we were running out of time. I didn't want to start anything. While you were, I believe you're still on the edge of space, correct?
The edge of space.
The edge of the maelstrom.
The nebula.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You had not gone in.
You had not gone to the maelstrom, right?
What was weird about it again? It would just mess with everything, like most nebula do.
Yeah, so it was clearly the remnants of a large destructed item. Something had blown up, and this was the resulting thing. And it was.
I think we just didn't want to accidentally fall into a wormhole. I think is our main reason. We weren't just going to go in.
There was also there were also like plasma storms and things like that going on. Like it's a very volatile space.
Yeah, plasma eddies.
Mm-hmm.
They're debating whether to go in, but we hadn't yet pulled the trigger on that.
Right.
Yeah, it seemed as though it was a fairly dangerous space to be in. This is the maelstrom for those who do not remember. Yes, I like that picture. I don't know where it came from, but I really like that picture. But the maelstrom is very dangerous from all readings you've been able to determine. There was obviously the destructed Federation ship that you had found, and the other ships that were there as well.
Bellerophon.
The Bellerophon,
Valerian.
which was a nebula
Which we
class,
had
I
got-
believe.
The away team had gotten their black box data.
Yes.
Yes.
Um,
And the bridge plaque.
yes, which is what got them into the trouble they were in,
Uh-huh. Mhm.
supposedly. So while you're on the edge of the maelstrom, you are detecting whoever's at con. Go ahead and give me a sensors roll.
I think that would be Lieutenant Silva.
I believe so.
What am I rolling to do again?
Sensors,
Oh, okay.
and the ship can roll as well.
So wouldn't that be science then?
Yes.
Okay.
Do O'Connor?
Yeah. I think O'Connor would roll.
It's whatever station. I mean, it wants to be done. It's Data's station. Someone data for me.
That would be operations. That's
Right.
Elizabeth's station, actually. She's operations.
Science and sensors is the ship's roll, which I will go ahead and do since I'm already right here.
I'll go ahead and roll. And Elizabeth is very good with sensors.
I forgot you can unhinge stuff in Roll20 and take it outside of your normal screen.
Mhm.
All right. Where are we at? So 2 successes total, right? One from
The ship and one
one from the ship and one from you. So that is sufficient. Oh, dang it. I didn't do what I was supposed to do. So that's on me. We'll change it slightly. The distance at a distance, you are picking up that. There you go. Show to players.
Yeah, I was about to say. Okay. That is a garish looking fighter if I've ever seen one.
Yes. You are only detecting one at the moment. It is a scale 2 vessel. Its markings and signature do not match any that you have thus far seen.
Captain, there's an unknown ship on sensors. Shall I put it on screen?
Go ahead.
Put it on screen.
Okay. There it is.
I assume we're already at least yellow alert being
Yes.
on the edge of a nebula. Yeah,
Yes,
so shields are up.
You determined yellow alert, I think, last time
Mhm.
because of the danger factor of the nebula itself.
Does it seem like it is coming from the wormhole or from elsewhere?
It appears to have come out of warp about where you're detecting it.
Gotcha. Okay.
So it was at warp. It came out of warp. You were detecting it now. Although it you did not detect its warp signature prior. It just came out of warp and there it was.
I don't recognize the whole configuration, nor the warp signature, but I do see there's some symbology on the hull. Perhaps we could push that through the UT that Varen has been updating.
That sounds like it's spending a momentum for additional information. Can we do that?
Yep.
Okay. Yeah. Do we recognize that symbol?
It seems to match some of the information you got from the Letharians, the Lemurians, as it is identified as a Bishari vessel.
They're the mean people, right?
They're the bad guys, yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, not necessarily bad guys, but they're the mean people, yes.
Yeah, they're the mean people.
You can be mean and good.
You can.
Um,
They think they are. They probably think they are.
I need to remember everybody's name. My protege back on where I used to stand. Ev, your character. Mills.
Javi?
She's there, right? Is Mills
No.
there?
Mills is on the planet.
I mean, no.
No.
Mhm.
I thought O'Connor was on the
O'Connor's on the planet.
O'Connor's on the planet. Yeah.
Look at the sheet, Av.
Yeah, if you look at
Guys, what sheet?
The roll 20. It's got the characters in their places.
In my notes from last episode, it does say O'Connor,
You're
not
right.
Mills. Okay.
It also says O'Connor in my notes.
It's been 2 months. It's fine.
Yeah.
She just doesn't want to be there now because she doesn't want this responsibility.
Yeah.
I've just had a very long day. Yes, your protege
Yeah.
is at her station.
He's gonna look back Mills' tactical assessment.
Give me a security and insight roll. Assuming those are not the same level of. Oh, it's been so long I forgot what the stats for characters or what the available
Insight security.
doohickeys.
You called
Yeah.
attributes and disciplines.
Disciplines. Those things.
Yeah.
Dose. The ship does apply. The ship can roll as well. Which
what is the goal of this roll?
to be able to
Weapons, shields, whatever other.
Yeah, to get a
situation,
deeper
see how dangerous it is,
and to add additional momentum to your guys' pool.
Okay, then I would think the ship sensors would apply to that.
Yes, they do. That's why I was going to roll.
You got that, Brian?
I got it.
Okay.
0 and a complication.
Boo.
Maybe they detect us scanning them for weapons.
Probably. So you get a basic understanding of the weaponry, and it appears to be pretty substantial for a fighter of its size. Equivalent to probably type. Well, it's probably as powerful, if not slightly more powerful, than either the Peregrines or the runabouts. Maybe might pack a little bit more punch in the laser, but you're not detecting in the phasers, I should say. But you're not detecting a whole lot in the way of torpedoes. Yeah, it might have them, but you're not. If it does, you don't recognize they're not quantum or anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
So that gets relayed up, and that was only 2 successes, so you don't get any momentum back.
Just for flavor wise, we put up a hologram of the ship so we can spin it around and the little parts light up as we talk about it.
Right. It does appear to be pretty quick. It does have warp capability. Its phasers are pretty powerful, especially considering that they're it's a fairly small fighter. It looks, again, like I said, comparable to, if not slightly more powerful than the Peregrines. Probably right about on par.
Silva will ask open channel, Captain?
Not yet. Keep an eye on it. If it starts making its way over here, well, if it doesn't bother us, I have no plans on bothering them. We have our own work to do right now.
It doesn't get a whole lot closer, but you definitely get the Europa Eva puts up on your screen that the ship is the Europa is being scanned at this time.
We sniffed them, they can sniff us. They'll see we're the bigger dog here.
After a few seconds of scanning, it promptly turns and warps out.
Silva
I was
will.
afraid that's what I was going to do.
Silva will mutter under her breath and say, "Let's just hope it's not part of a pack."
Right.
Oh, I'm sure it is.
All right.
Keep sensors on the lookout for that warp frequency.
All right. That was my alarm to go finish my food. So let's go ahead and take an actual break here.
Okay. How many?
Probably about 10.
10 minutes? Okay.
All right. And we are back. I have had my jerked ribs and potatoes, and it was somewhat bland because I didn't let it cook long enough. Next time. Nice thing is I made it for an entire week, so I can have more later. Let's go ahead and get back to, well, who does anyone have anything they want to get back to? We have been off for a while, so anyone who has any character stuff they want to do, we've got some time where the people in the shuttle are in the shuttle and they're stuck there during a storm. We'll get back to that right before we do that for the Borg ship thing. But
I feel like we should have a bridge meeting about what the plan is, because I do not recall what our specific plan was at this point.
Okay.
So we might discuss that so we can move forward with the plot.
I will let you guys plan that out in a second. Let's go ahead and go back to the shuttle first, though, and do anything we want to do in there, and then come back to the bridge since we left off on the bridge before. First, let's back to the shuttle. The storm is fast approaching. You guys are hiding. You guys are in the shuttle. I wouldn't say hiding, but you've definitely bunkered down into the shuttle. You've got your systems online, whatever you need to shut off to lower your power, but still keep your stuff going, and so you're not going to be detected. You've done an excellent job of hiding yourself as far as you are aware. Go ahead and give me difficulty 0 roll to watch as the Borg ship goes over and get any additional information you might want to get. Also, because again, you're down to 2 momentum. So I'm giving you lots of chances to have free momentum here.
Now that I have the right character, that would probably be an O'Connor roll.
Yes.
Insight science.
Yeah, or reason.
Said the same. So
yeah,
it don't matter.
You do not get the shuttlecraft because of the ion interference, which is assume that doesn't work. So, also because I'm not sure we have stats for the shuttle anywhere.
We do.
Do we?
Yeah, type 9 shuttle under complement.
Oh, yeah. All right. No, still. My original reasoning holds true. So difficulty was 0. You have 2. That's 2 momentum, or 2 questions, your choice. I'll put them on there for you. The ship appears to be a small, probably one person type craft. It is not much bigger than a single person would be. And it appears to be, again, harvesting the electricity, the energy, and the ionization and all that stuff of the storm itself, which appears to actually be lessening its impact. It is harvesting the energy and storing it in extremely dense capacitors. So you are detecting a huge amount of energy, much beyond what you would expect from a ship of that size. You are not familiar with the technology that would exist to be able to store the amount of energy that this thing is storing. You're like near warp levels of technology in a ship of that size. It's astonishing how much energy is being stored. But it does go overhead and does not appear to notice you.
Can we, while we're in it, can we get any kind of, is there any way we can tell like what kind of energy it's drawing upon?
It's basically an ion energy, so it's hard to say. I mean, it's definitely storing up the kind of energy that it would need to be able to do like advanced manufacturing, or not manufacturing. I'm not sure how to explain it, but yeah, like potentially replication. It's similar to the technology, the energy signatures you would find in a Borg ship, but at significant levels.
Okay, so it seems to be being used for some kind of manufacturing.
Yes.
Okay.
Or will be used for.
Will be.
At the moment, is just being stored.
Well, they seem to be using this world as some kind of, I don't know, battery farm.
Yeah, that would be inappropriate. That would be an adequate assumption.
Same.
Well, we can wait for the storm to pass overhead. Hopefully, get us out of here before anything else shows up.
Did we real quick, did we ever figure out where we were relative to the galaxy?
Mm-hmm. We did. We figured
we,
out,
or the
or was
Europa
it the
did.
Europa?
I believe the Europa figured it out.
Okay,
Yeah,
we don't know.
Europa
Okay.
figured out we're in the Delta Quadrant. Jisa figured out the stars are different, but I don't think she pinpointed where we were.
Right, because you didn't have the access to the navigational systems because of the damage.
Gotcha.
Okay, great, thanks. Okay, then yeah, she'll say, we must be pretty far from home. Where do you think we ended up?
I don't think there's been any Borg in the Alpha Quadrant in a while. Beta, perhaps? Far Beta?
You don't think we could be in the Delta Quadrant, do you?
Going through a wormhole, we could be in a different galaxy. Who knows?
Wait, the ion storm. What if we use the ion storm to give the engines a jump start?
We could try to collect energy just like they're doing, but it might give us away. We're in no condition to fight off a Borg, even a single one.
No.
It seems worth the risk. We wouldn't be able to use the ion storm once the ion storm is gone.
I don't think powers are a problem. There's plenty of systems I could crosswire. It's just everything's blown out. We have repair parts.
Okay.
I'd say we use this time to get the ship fixed. If we need power after that, I don't know how much we can keep an eye on the storm while we're inside it, but let's hold off. Everyone set your phasers to max.
What power is the Borg ship running on?
It appears to be siphoning energy from its capacitors.
Okay.
Is there anything more we want out of this scene?
I don't know that there's much else. I would just like to hope, just some a chance to explore some of the characters a little bit more. Just some quick.
No, fair.
Yeah, Jesus'
Really anything else.
Jesus' demeanor has very much changed. She's not sassy or snarky. She's in survival mode. She's in Watchmen mode.
Oh yeah, she's so much darker than the ball of fun she was.
Oh yeah.
When the ball of fun she was when she shot you.
Yeah.
It's fun for her.
All right, let's go ahead back to the Europa.
Mm-hmm.
We can have a recap of any plans you guys want to accomplish by going into a meeting if that's something you guys want to do. Just a chance.
Or we can discuss it out of character, and I just think we need to figure out what we're doing.
I mean, narrative-wise, if we're jumping back 2 months IRL, we really just came out of a meeting.
Right.
I mean, yeah. I mean, do we want to go through the portal, or do we, or not? If not, what do we want to do?
I think our plan was we set up this daisy chain. I don't know if we already sent one through or if we
did.
We already sent one through.
So we have this, and there was no response, but we did find a warp trail leading up away from the wormhole.
Right.
I believe we discussed the possibility of sending a volunteer mission, but I don't think anyone was really all that enthusiastic about that, except maybe Tasavi.
We don't know what happened to the shuttle. I remember that being a sticking point. Since we didn't know what happened to the shuttle, we couldn't guarantee it wouldn't just happen again.
Yeah, that was Ambrose's big sticking point.
Yeah. So the way I see it, we have 3 options. We can send a smaller ship through, we can wait here and hope we hear from the shuttle, or we can go in ourselves.
So the notes that I have are that we are going to test the probe for damage and time dilation and possibly send a second shuttle through on a volunteer-only basis.
Yeah, because the probe we sent through, it detected the shuttle and it detected damage to the shuttle, like it crash landed. But I think we were going to try to, the next time it opened, I think we were going to try to, no, it didn't?
Nope. I've got Delta Quadrant, no sign of the ship. Wormhole closes probe on the other side, still intact, though the signal degraded.
Right. The signal was getting weaker over as the wormhole was closed. You had detected the warp signature going towards the planet, but you hadn't detected the shuttle itself.
Right. We also did not detect any debris from the shuttle.
I have in my notes picked up the shuttle's estimated location after an uncontrolled descent.
I think that
we have conflicting notes.
Yeah, I think that was from the warp signature. You have an idea of where it would have landed based on the warp signature.
Okay.
It doesn't so much matter what we were going to do, but what are we going to do?
Yeah, what are you going to do now is the question.
Yezebeth will say, I think we should take the Europa through. It's a bold move, I admit, but the Europa could survive the Europa is more likely to survive any damage and is more likely to be able to pick up the crew and get them back to this quadrant.
Well, I don't agree with her phrasing. Silva did make a good point about not sending the entire ship after the shuttle. We don't know exactly. We know they're in the Delta Quadrant. We don't know what they're facing over there, or whether or not the ship can go through relatively unscathed. Risking the entire crew.
We don't know enough about the properties of this wormhole. A larger ship means larger spatial inertia, which means shearing forces could rip this whole ship apart. We simply don't know. On top of that, we don't know exactly where or exactly when, but if it's the Delta Quadrant, we don't want to become the next Voyager, assuming we know about Voyager.
I believe that there has been a message come back from Voyager by this point.
Yeah, I think
so. So it sounds like going through the wormholes off the table. So that leaves us with two options. We wait for them to come back, or we send another shuttle to them.
We know the approximate location of where it went down. We could retrofit a torpedo into a communication station and send it down to the planet. If they can't communicate because their communications are down, if they can make it to that point, we can at least get an update and have a conversation. I think that's a stepping stone towards a much more risky action.
That'd be a prudent move. However, I worry we don't know that any of them survived. If we do that, we should set a deadline.
Well, I believe everything's operational. We should enact a plan right now. Give them
24 hours.
24 hours, I'd say, would be a good maximum.
All right.
And if we don't hear from them, we can assume we're not going to.
Yes,
What's over at Dasapi? I don't like leaving people behind. But I also don't want to trap however many people are on this ship. Ambrose knows.
Yes.
I don't want to trap our entire crew
6 others
in the Delta Quadrant. And again, who knows what time period.
Right.
We can also take this opportunity while we wait for communications to see if we can bounce any sensor telemetry off of the probe we sent through. Maybe get a better understanding of the planet, what situation they might be in. If we find any reason to believe that they're alive, we'll do something.
Elizabeth is already getting ideas for a planetary landing probe, complete with communications device. So she'll rush off to get it done without waiting for the meeting to be adjourned, just knowing the time is of the essence.
As you reach the door, yes, Beth.
Yes.
Meeting adjourned.
Yeah. And she heads off in a rush.
138 people. That's how many are aboard the Europa. That's its crew complement.
Question.
Mm-hmm.
Because the Lord is a little fuzzy on it, what's the I suppose range on the telepathy? So I know, like, why am I blanking on?
So theoretically, there is no range, but it's, scene appropriate. I tend to assume that it's like, within reason, like within like a city or something like that. It's not infinite, I wouldn't think, but
at times it could work from orbit. Sometimes it was like relatively close ship to ship. I believe one time Deanna and her mom communicated like all the way from wherever they were to Beta Z. So it's cough, cough, plot distance.
Yeah.
Right. So my thought is, and we can try it. Actually, we'll just roll in the scene. So after Yasbeth leaves, maybe we'll look at Ambrose. I don't know. It's a long shot. We could try to edge the Europa up as close to the wormhole as we can. And I can try to reach out to them. The best bet would be Ensign Oneat, because we would have a closer bond. Now, the barrier that there being whatever is going on with her own.
You said Ensign Oneat. Who do you mean?
Yeah. The
Kendall.
Okay. Okay, right. You do share the last name. Okay.
Yeah.
Of course.
The barrier there being whatever is going on with her and her own abilities. However, if I get a searing head pain, well, at least we'll know she's alive. And at least one of them will have survived.
It's worth a try.
This is me out of character. I just love this idea. It's a great idea.
I love this idea because it gives me opportunity to do something that I wasn't sure how I was going to do.
Sure.
We should, when the wormhole opens, there's no reason we can't do it on the bridge. He takes out his necklace, and there's a small crystal at the end, which he's used. It helps him focus his own empathy at the very least. I have a proper Canar Crystal back in my cabin. I'll go get that. Together we might be able to boost the signal. You'd be guiding that. I don't have that kind of range or the connection.
Okay.
I think for distinction, we should. I believe it's pronounced Canar Crystal, but
Canar. Okay.
Yeah, because Canar is the drink.
Canar is the Gotcha. Canar. Yeah.
I don't have a crystal made of booze, but it's similar color.
If this doesn't work, we'll just drink Canar until we forget the whole thing.
Right. All right. I assume you're gonna continue with the Yezebeth moment. She's going to go do it down and do her thing. So let's go ahead and do something with that.
I think Castra is going to go back to his job, and she will fill the slot on Team Daisy Chain. Going back to his engine room where he's happy. So she will go to Tom, and she'll Tom, we've got a job. Hurry.
Right.
We'll go to one of the engineering bays, and probably the one made out to do the daisy chain, since we'll be building off that previous technology. We've got one last chance to get our people back. We're going to send down have you ever heard of the old lunar landers? The ones humans used to use to explore worlds. They just drop something on the planet and it would send out signals. We're going to do something a lot like that.
Right. Hopefully not as fragile.
Oh, of course not. We're not making out of stones and sticks here. Let's see what we can do about converting a torpedo tube, but making it so it can fold out to allow for a user interface.
Right. Right. Well, I've been stripping out warheads all morning, probably slightly irradiated, but it's for a good cause. I'll crack another one open and we'll fill it with all kinds of stuff.
Right.
Perfect.
Have you guys give me an engineering? One person can do. I would say let's do either. I want to say daring and engineering, and daring and science. So you can each do one. One can roll, one can assist, is what I should say.
So, okay. So is this a single roll or like a complex action?
We'll do it as a single roll.
Okay. So, how about I do the rolls, the main roll, since I'm the main character and have better stats, and you can do the assist. Sound good?
Sure.
Okay.
Sounds like Tong was depressed there.
A little bit.
Don't worry, Tom. You'll one day receive main character status.
Just got to kill off Ambrose.
I mean, I highly recommend it. It is a very fun thing to do. Everybody is sad that you died. It is fun. Okay. So I do have the right tools for the job. So I haven't looked at the tools, but I'm assuming there might be something there that applies to that.
I mean, it's a fully equipped starship, so you have whatever tools you need.
Yeah, and if I remember correctly, we did set up modular laboratories to make the daisy chain. So would we get advantage for that?
Yes.
Okay.
I mean, you only get advantages don't really stack. You only get one at a time, but
they do stack. But if we only get one equipment advantage, that makes sense to me.
Right.
So, okay. All right. How much momentum do we have? 4? I'm going to go ahead and use 3. No, I'll just stick with 1. I'll stick with 1.
Ah, you're killing me.
Sorry.
Okay. And you want to use 3? Go ahead and use 3. This is that's an important task. Because if we don't make this thing, we can't launch this thing, and we can't get it in communication. So it's up to you, though.
You know what? I would actually like to use a determination here.
Sure.
I have the value all in the follow through. The idea being that a plan set in motion should be followed, not necessarily regardless of things, but it should be followed because if you're consistent and you keep at it, you can succeed. And since it's an extension of the daisy chain plan that we've already put into motion, it seems like a follow-through type action to me.
Sure.
So, okay, cool. I do not think I have any focuses that apply, but I'll go ahead and run. That is 3 successes.
Okay.
Did you specifically want daring engineering, or can I use control?
No, you can use control.
I will assist. That is one die, right?
Yeah, because you're assisting outlaw control. If you were not assisting, I was going to say it would almost have to be daring because it's something completely new,
Right.
and you're doing it on a deadline.
All right. 4 total.
All right. So you get back your 2 momentum, unless you want to spend them on something.
I have an idea for, I don't know if it counts as an advantage. You'd have to tell me what mechanical thing it might be, but could, I don't know if it's directly appropriate. I was thinking some way for it to lock on more, for it to land closer to where they are, but actually now that I think about it, I don't know if that would work. You tell me.
I would say it would basically be to, I mean, if you were trying to do it mechanically speaking,
I'm just saying we only know where the ship went because of the warp signature,
right?
And the ship isn't there anymore.
Yeah,
it's quite a ways away. So
we do know which direction it was going in, and we know the rotation of the planet.
Right, so, but you don't know what you don't know is the ship is not where it was when it landed.
Yeah. That's true.
So you basically want you want to upgrade the targeting or set the targeting system to get closer to the ship's the signature of the thing, right? Of the shuttlecraft. And then go closer to, like, basically when it gets in the system, it identifies its target and then moves towards the target, which is what a torpedo is designed to do.
Yeah.
That's me.
I'll go ahead and say that would essentially be removing a complication, which is 2.
Okay. But unfortunately, closer to its target would probably be closer to the original target of the shuttlecraft.
Well, it sounds like what you're asking for is that it homes in on the shuttle.
Yeah, that's what I'm assuming that you want to set you're setting the warp signature of the shuttle into the torpedo so that it's specifically looking for that shuttlecraft. It knows that because you guys have all that information.
If we fire it along the same trajectory as the warp signature, we don't need it to follow the warp signature at all. We follow the whole composition and the metallurgical analysis.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
There we go.
Yeah.
So it has a better chance of getting to where the ship might actually be now, assuming that, you don't know if it's moved or not, but
technobabble.
So things we definitely wanted to do. We definitely wanted to send a broad spectrum signal on Starfleet signals. We definitely wanted to have a user interface that it can be used to communicate back with the daisy chain. And we wanted to be able to survive an impact with the planet.
Right.
Is there anything else we want to make sure that this thing can do?
Sounds about right.
With the information that Tong has, that sounds great.
Okay, perfect.
All right.
So,
do we have anything else we want anyone in the shuttle to be doing role play wise? Because the 3 of you are going to be in that storm for a little while, and obviously there's nothing else that's happened yet. You have an opportunity to explore any of these 3 characters' fears, motivations, things like that, as you're trapped in this thing in this space for several hours together. This tight, confined. While you're in there, the storm is beating overhead. It's loud. It's even in the shuttlecraft, it's loud. A lot of lightning, a lot of, damaging rain and winds kind of stuff. So you have an opportunity to do anything there if you want to. I don't know if those 3 characters have anything they want to explore, but
I feel like we should. I think I feel like Kendall and Jissa are going to stare at each other, just waiting for one of them to crack, like to be the first one to like clear the air between them. Do you think it would be Jissa, or would it?
I don't think Jissa cares. Jissa
Okay.
has no intention of being in a staring, growling contest. She has her phaser set to max. She is watching the door. She is listening. She is in full sentry mode right now.
All right, then never mind.
Well, you got the option there, like if she's doing that and Kendall.
If Kendall wants to start a problem, go for it.
I don't want to start a problem. I wanted them to clear the air.
More of a relieve a problem than start a problem.
But it sounds like Jissa's not in the mood to clear the air. So
Jissa doesn't need clear air.
Okay, if you say so.
That by itself though is an opportunity for something as well. Like,
yeah.
I don't know if I want more fighting between these two. It already feels like border victory. So
I mean, if Kendall still had some sort of empathy, just the fact that Jisa does not care would probably upset her, but Jisa really does not care at all.
Yeah, no, I get that. I was hoping that we could, as I said, clear the air. If that's not going to happen, then I'm not really interested in the scene between them.
Yeah, not without new stimuli.
Okay. Then never
Sorry.
Yeah, I mean, the stimuli would be that you are now trapped together for several hours, not talking and not having anything,
Yeah, Jesus sat behind the pilot of a Peregrine solo for hours and hours at a time, drifting through space. She is fine, just hanging out.
Kendall's tension is rising. Like she's not happy with the situation. She doesn't like being stuck in this tin can with Jissa of all people.
Are you like? I don't remember how big Type 9s are. You like pacing around? Are you tapping on things? They're clearly agitated.
We're within arm's reach of each other.
Yeah, they're not real
Yeah,
big.
These are small ones. These aren't runabouts. Okay.
So if with Kendall's increasing tension, O'Connor is getting more anxious. Her normal anxiety is like up here. She is doing her best to be small and distract, like anything that she can do to remove herself
to go
from
unseen.
The situation. What's that?
To go unseen.
Pretty much. Like she has found something very interesting on this console over here and is like just trying to quietly work on it and just be unobtrusive and somehow shrink away from all of Kendall's energy.
The air is thick with ions and distrust.
Yes.
Yeah, Kendall's not going to make a scene or anything, but she's just going to. It's a tense situation because of the storm, because of the noise it's making, and because just as there, O'Connor is obviously feeling it. Jissa seems to not care at all, which probably just makes Kendall even more annoyed. I don't think there's anything else I want out of that.
I can do something with this.
Okay.
O'Connor, take a look at our rations, our supplies. We don't know how big this storm is and how long we're going to be here. I want a complete inventory of everything in the ship.
Okay.
Get to work.
Yes, sir. She'll go look at what rations we have.
She's going to shift the 1 foot available to her in this tiny shuttlecraft towards Kendall. If you want to be in command, Kendall, you need to keep your shit together.
I'm keeping my shit together.
All right. If your shit's together, you need to keep her shit together.
Believe me, if I fail to keep my shit together, you'll be the first to know.
This would have been an excellent place to step up. She's not used to these away missions in this high tense situation. She's a botanist, a gardener, a scientist. I'm not great at reassuring. I'm sure that comes to no surprise, so I gave her some work.
Was there anything else I could help you with?
Carry on, Ensign.
like that.
I would also like to. No, I believe we said we depleted the power cells of those 2 phasers. Yeah, never mind.
Yeah, that was part of the complication.
Yeah. She was going to make some grenades, but they don't have enough power.
No. All right. With that, let's go back to Europa. Since the probe thing is completed and the bridge crew has a plan. Kind of a double-edged thing here. You guys do know how to open the thing. So
yeah.
You
shoot it.
Yeah.
That's how you open everything in sci-fi. You shoot it.
Pretty much. I just wanted to know if you guys were waiting for the portal to open on its own, or which it does do.
I don't think we know that.
No, we haven't seen that yet.
I thought you did.
Mm-mm.
Okay, well,
No.
One of your science officers tells you that it will probably eventually open on its own because there is a buildup of things, and that's what Vren was doing while you guys were. So you do know that eventually it will open on its own, but it takes time. Or you can just overload it and open it whenever you want.
Yeah, I think the plan is to go as soon as all the equipment is set up.
Yeah. So the gear for the torpedo launch is done. It's loaded and ready to go. You guys are on the bridge. I assume you have your Canar Crystal and your Reiki and essential oils ready to go.
Got my lang lang and patchouli.
So go ahead and
So there is some ceremony to this, not overly so, but Ambrose doesn't just come back with a rock. He comes back with a whole,
right,
like, I don't know if it would be necessarily an altar, but a whole like small table with with appropriate drapings, a specific holder for the crystal, probably has some little tea lights or something nearby. There's a whole
some incense and
ritual to this. Yeah.
Right. So you're on the bridge. Tensions are kind of high. Go ahead and describe how you want this to go out, and I will just tell you what happens. Everything you want to do, like as far as like launching the probe, all that stuff. Like you guys are basically now on the bridge. Everything is prepped and ready to go as far as the mechanical side of stuff goes. But the ritual and the actually firing the torpedo and all that stuff, that's all going to be what you guys how you guys want to do it, and I will tell you what happens from there.
I'd like Silva just to lean over to Mills while this is all going on. Are we on a starship, or is this a yoga retreat?
Bit of both. You want to question the captain and his yoga?
No, ma'am.
She just gives you like a little chuckle and goes back to.
Yeah, same.
Yes, right. Beth, I want you to keep an eye on everything out there. You're in charge of overseeing the torpedo launch, but I want you to also have an eye on the sensors in case our friends show up again.
Aye, Captain. The Eagle has launched.
Silva, be ready to move us out of here at a moment's notice. Mills? I'll still be here, but you have the bridge, at least until I come to. This is going to be a whole thing.
There.
Silva presses some buttons and says, on whole thing alert, Captain.
Doctor, you're leading the show. Kneel down and put his hands around the crystal and glows softly.
All right. What are you doing, Ev? Describe your thing that you're doing.
Dasavi will standing, close her eyes, take a deep breath, ground herself, and kind of, not that it's really necessary, but she, one of those, like, if I do something physically, maybe it will help, like put a hand out
Right.
and reach out with her mind. She's going to try to reach out to Ed O'Connor first, just because she knows that even though having Kendall be the easier one to reach, that it's going to be very painful, and if she hits Kendall before she hits the other two, it's going to really it's going to fry her brain a little bit.
Right. So you're planning on having the wormhole open for that, or?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, waiting till the wormhole's open.
All right. So, Elizabeth, you have the control of when the thing opens and fire the thing. So, they appear to be getting, like, the captain has gone into something of a trance, and Dasavi has kind of closed her eyes and put her raptor hand out to stop the dinosaurs, and that's probably your signal to go ahead and.
Yeah, Elizabeth will point to Mills as a signal to fire the phasers and open the thing. We launch our improvised torpedo lander. As it flies through space towards the portal, you can see that it has the Apollo mission logo sketched on it, just as kind of a good luck charm. Okay. It takes no time when you have replicators.
Right.
So it flies through the portal and begins honing in on the shuttle.
All right. As it goes through the portal, it starts sending back telemetry fairly quickly. Your other probe sends back some signals as well. It appears that it is still functional, obviously, which is a bonus. The torpedo zips through space and off to the planet. Looks like it's on target, on course, and all is so far well. Telemetry coming back, it seems good. Go ahead and have Dasavi and the captain give me. Oh goodness, there's not really. What's a good role for the?
I think mine at least would be presence command.
Yeah, I think presence.
I will say Vulcan mind melds are presence science, if that helps.
Yeah, I believe that the Betazoid thing is usually medicine or science.
Mm-hmm.
But presence and either medicine or presence and science would work.
Why presence and not
insight?
Insight?
Yeah, insight or maybe even control.
Because you're using your whatever that is, like your essence essentially, which is usually like your gravitas and all that is usually under presence. Let me see if I can find in the book real quick where that is. Go ahead and make the roll either way, and we'll see. Hang on, actually, wait a minute. Where's Betazoids at?
I have already checked. There's
it doesn't say anything. We've had this conversation before.
Oh, okay.
It's kind of useless.
It is somewhere in one of the books. I don't remember where. So I'm good either way. It doesn't really much matter to me which one you want to use. I imagine both are pretty good for you anyways. So.
Yeah, insight and control a little bit better than presence, but.
One of the books has this stuff. Now that you mentioned it, yeah.
I know it does. I don't know what book it's in, but it's in one of the books.
I'll find it. I can't promise I'll do it before the roll, but I will find it for next time.
So go ahead and do it as for now. Let's go ahead and do it as presence, because I believe that's how it's actually written, and I could be completely wrong. And so,
I'm going to use one of these momentum.
Okay.
Could I also use she's the one leading this, so I don't think follow my lead really works.
No.
But could I use my commanding officer talent to give her a point of determination to use for this.
You're talking about the roll talent, which would basically allow you to spend a point of determination to grant another character that you communicate with 1 point of determination. This does not have to be linked to any value. Yes, you can use that.
Yeah,
I found it. The talent telepathic or projection. It requires a presence plus security test, difficulty 2. But that's to inflict a stress condition. So,
okay. I was gonna say, security makes no sense.
I'm not for that. Let's go ahead and just keep it where we had presence and whatever else I said.
Extrasensory perception just gives it to you without a roll. So
right,
those are the ones in the book.
It might be something in the player's guide. We'll look it up later. I'm not worried about it right now. Let's go with what we got. But like I said, presence. For some reason, I just think presence is what it's supposed to be.
Go with it. Whatever feels right. That's what's right.
Yeah. So presence and either medicine or science works best for me. You could also try command if you really wanted to do that, because you're in command of yourself. So, go ahead and make your roll. And Jack is assisting, and nothing else assists, and like whatever the crystal does is what the crystal does.
And then the crystal just allows it.
Yeah.
Yeah. But you have a point of determination, which I believe buys you 2 successes.
You note. I'll go ahead and roll, and then I'll tell you what you. Because the Canar Crystal would have some effects. Is that you jury roll once, Jack? No, there it is. Okay.
There it is.
Three successes. All right. So Dasavi, as you begin to focus, you can begin to feel your mind touching the crystal, and the crystal feeds your energy through Ambrose, not through Jack. Jack is sitting somewhere else. And you can feel Ambrose's mind even more clearly than you ever have before. It is the most clear sensation of communication you've ever experienced, even as a Beta Z. You've never experienced anything quite this intense. It's similar to the way that you've heard Vulcans describe mind melds.
So you get a very strong empathic connection to flashbacks of being stranded and being alone and just surviving until someone came to rescue.
And by the same token, Jack, your mind is quite a bit more open than it has ever been, even during, similar rituals. You have a clear understanding of Dasavi's mind at this moment. Again, much like a mind meld would be, it is far more intense of an experience than you've ever had to deal with before. There's a lot of lights flashing in your mind and experiences and things of that nature. As you reach out, Evelyn, you can feel your mind slipping through the distance of space, and you can feel the presence of O'Connor and Jisa, and you feel the void, the repellent sensations of Kendall.
Daughter. Let's make this personal.
Right.
Great.
By the way, I found the rules. I posted them in the Discord. They're in the player's guide.
Yeah, I was going to say look in the player's guide, but I didn't want to get into that right now. But yeah.
Yeah, the rules are basically do what you want. So
Right.
Yeah.
Yep. Jack, Ambrose is getting, like, on the surface, the concentration and focus, and behind that, her actively pushing back this sense of desperation.
What are you going to do that? Do you guys have anything else you're going to do with you've touched them? You're touching. You can feel the sensation of their minds. You can't get their thoughts. I think it's just there's too much distance and everything else so far. Like without pushing harder, you're not getting anything else. Jack, you can also feel the sensation of them. Everything that one of you feels, the other feels. You can. Go ahead.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I think having that sense of being stranded and alone intermingled with everything, Dasavi is going to try to send out, and I think given the situation, I don't think she's going to try to send words. I think she's going to try to send out a sense of, you've not been forgotten. We are coming for you.
Send a mother's love. Send a mother's love.
Jack, are you adding anything to that? Is any sensations that or thoughts or feelings that you are adding to it?
I think I've added everything. I've said what I've added. Yeah.
Okay, just the you have the sensation of desperation and aloneness.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. With that, I have been sitting on a complication for some time now that I'm going to use, and I'm going to spend a couple of threat here. 1 and 2 and 3, because I feel like that's an appropriate number to use. As you are reaching out to their minds, you feel, and Brian, go ahead and you can treat this how you want with your character.
Okay.
As you're reaching out, you begin to touch their minds, but you feel you can't connect with Jisa or O'Connor particularly, that you can't get the sensation. You don't feel like they're getting the thought. So you shift your focus maybe a little bit to Kendall. Kendall, you begin to feel something touching your mind. And in a moment of not panic, but defensive reflex, like it's not even intentional. It's an instinctual reaction. You push back against it. The two, Jack and Dasavi, not just Jack, again, not with Jack, Ambrose and Dasavi, you both feel this resistance, this pressure on your minds, and then there's a bright flash, and you're both sent dizzily spinning across the deck of the ship. Before you land, before either of you land to the ground, you get a sensation of torment and agony in your minds, something that is almost overwhelming. Jack, you get the sensation of not only aloneness, but abandonment and the same pains and sensations that you had when you were injured dramatically before. Dasavi, you get this sensation of, again, pain and aloneness and fear that nothing will ever be right, that you'll never survive the moment that you're in. And you get this sense of trained calm trying to instill itself upon you, and you both hear a nursery rhyme in your head as you both pass out.
Yeah, so when we're sort of forcefully ejected from this fake mind meld, we're thrown across the room. I imagine the force of it, like I push against the table, the Canar Crystal falls out of its little basin. I go Riker cartwheeling across the bridge, and I think my first reaction is to, because Ambrose is always armed, grab his phaser, and he just kind of basically gets it out and turns it on before Yet passes out.
Okay.
Tavi will, as she's feeling this sense of like nothing will ever be right again, this look of like of motherly anguish crosses her face, and as she grabs her head as the pain blasts through and she's thrown back.
Okay.
I think simultaneously, if you don't mind,
Yeah.
Kendall bowls over. Her head feels like it's exploding as the scar tissue and walls that her mind had built up begins to swell and overfill. I think she literally feels like her head is going to explode, and that this takes the form of her grasping her head in horror as she doubles over in the shuttle chair.
All right. I think that's a good place.
Jisa will immediately, move in that direction,
Right.
put a hand on her shoulder, not in a comforting way, but at least in a stabilizing way.
Right.
And shout out O'Connor, tricorder, the hell's going on?
Meanwhile, Yezbeth is emergency to medical team to the bridge immediately.
Not knowing really what's going on and seeing the captain grab his phaser, Mills will call for red alert.
All right.
I know Yezbeth is already scanning, but tell her scan for any hostiles. And then on the planet side, O'Connor will grab the tricorder and kind of like fumble a little as she brushes the whole like foot and a half over.
Right.
Are there holo projectors on the bridge?
Yeah, why not?
Sure, why not?
I think this is the first time we've been to red alert in a long time since we've been back out in the Expanse.
Yeah.
Yeah, the SSH materializes on the bridge.
All right. I think that's a pretty good place to end the scene. To end the session, actually. I like that.
Please state the nature of the command emergency.
Yes, please state the nature of this red alert emergency. Right. I like that. Could have gone a little longer, but I like that. And it ends at a not too bad time. This is a little bit of a shorter session. We had a lot to come back from, and I think it took us a little bit to get our characters under our feet, but I think we did a good job. And yeah. I think this gives us a lot to think about going to the next session and what we want to achieve and what we want to accomplish as our characters.
You just get me into my characters. I'm like right in there. We're done. That's it.
Goddamn cliffhangers. Join us again for part 2. No. Same bat time, same bat channel. What moment stands out most to you this evening?
I really liked the psychic reach out with the captain and the XO. Like, we played around a little bit with the psychic abilities, and that felt really good. It I liked that use of it, and I liked that we got to play with Kendall's issues. So it was really good. It was really good.
Nice. Anybody else got anything?
Yeah, I think that last scene was my favorite part. I've got some others, but I think they're more for the what do you want to see in a character stuff.
Jack, you got anything?
I'm sure I do, but vocalizing it, I think I can't pinpoint an exact scene, but I did really like, Brian, your portrayal of Kendall and her whole situation and her anger towards Ajisa.
Yeah. I actually like the way that scene played out better than if there had been a direct confrontation and resolution. I think that tension holds nicer. And then with this last scene, I think you have now potentially some unrequited, or not unrequited, but unresolved tension that may or may not cause more tension interpersonally. Yeah. So I like that. Who best embodied their character? I got to give credit. I really liked Kendall trying to I think in this session we could see a lot more of the internal conflict of the characters, just based on the idea that we were vocalizing it more because of the idea that we've been off for so long. So I think I liked seeing the internal conflict of Jisa and Kendall, and I liked O'Connor with her fears. That was an interesting thing. I mean, that's everything they want to say about who best embodied their characters.
I agree with I really like seeing the Kendall Kisa Kendall with that like I should be in charge, and also you phased me.
I think it's
and
more.
Jason just being like, yeah, whatever, I got shit to do.
I think it's more at this point that you phased me.
Right.
I think that's the kind of
That's fair.
thing.
Yeah. Jack knows that's fair.
Yeah.
Jisa doesn't care.
Fair. Yeah, I'm very. Thank you. I thought Mills or O'Connor feeling that tension was great, and I really. She feels very. She feels very real, and I think you do a good job with O'Connor.
I must say I also
I
like
remembered which character was actually on the planet.
right. I must say I also like the growth I think that we saw from Elizabeth today as well. Like she had a little bit of that rushed insecurity, but still I'm gonna do what needs to be done, taking command, like maybe a little bit more of the Hage symbiote slipping in there and showing
Jesus
a
has
little bit
been
more.
doing that this whole time. Pressing Ambrose's buttons.
Yeah. So yeah.
Leaving the bridge before she's dismissed.
Right.
Come on, ensign.
I like that's still there, and I think the moment of confrontation that may eventually come from all of that between Ambrose and I'm looking forward to seeing a reestablishment of a connection between Ambrose and the Hage symbiote, or at least a resolution to that momentum they had together.
I've been holding something, but we keep going on extended breaks.
Right.
I never get a chance to use it.
Well, there shouldn't be any breaks.
Ambrose is still building that ship.
Right. We shouldn't go on any breaks for a little while now. I think we should be back for, barring anything severe happening, we should be good to go for a couple of weeks at least.
Yeah, I'm not gonna do any more breaks.
Yeah.
About that. No.
I don't have anything on my schedule that should interfere for at least the next 4 weeks. So
Great.
Don't mind me. I'm just,
yeah.
Like I told you, I've gotten like 12 hours of sleep total the last 3 days, and I'm all over the place. I don't mean anything by it.
Welcome to my whole everyday.
Right.
Every day.
Well,
What was a good idea, bad idea for the session?
Sending a souped up communications station to a Borg controlled planet. I'd say that's more of a bad idea than a good idea given the situation, but there's two parties and they don't know what's going on.
Right.
Yep.
Wow, that's
you just launched a real loud Borg calling signal right directly at the shuttle.
Yeah, I didn't think about that. Yeah, no, 100%.
Well, directly where the shuttle was.
No, we honed it in on the actual metallurgy of the shuttle. Yeah.
Well,
yep. We sent a Borg button straight to where we are.
Yep.
Love it. Let's escalate that. I wanna lean into that. Let's escalate that scene.
Oh, I have no doubt we will.
Yeah. What did you see from another character or player that you'd like to see more of in the future?
I wasn't done.
Oh, all right. Go ahead. Keep going.
No, likewise, good idea and bad idea. The super mind link Canar Crystal getting in contact with a telepathic black hole. Good idea. We know they're alive. Bad idea. All of our brains exploded.
Right.
I will say doing on the bridge was perfect.
Yes.
You very easily could have gone into another room. But
I considered.
That would have been boring.
Mm-hmm.
Doing it on the bridge was the right move.
Yeah, I agree.
I liked Silva's snarky remarks.
Yeah. It was fun.
I liked that. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, I also like Silver's snarky remarks, and I think for good idea, bad idea, building on the mind link, because we didn't really do much to safeguard much of anything, and I don't know really how directional it was, so we may also have just brought our own homing beacon on us.
Well, I mean, directional certainly doesn't apply. That's for sure.
Yeah.
I don't know
if...
What's that?
No, go ahead. I'm sorry.
I was going to say there's a lot wrapped up in that description, so hopefully,
All the Jakaran or whatever they're called, they're all freaking out right now. I'm depressed and scared and running around. I don't know what they're doing.
What would you?
Perfect for when the swarm of Bishari or whatever they're called show up.
Right.
Yeah.
If you could see anything from, what did you see from the character player that you want to see more of in the future?
I really liked Jisa in her very rough way trying to guide Kendall.
And Kendall really... just completely don't talk to me right now.
Yeah, for as short as that scene was, I thought it was really powerful.
Anybody else?
Yeah, I mean, I've said it before. I just really liked Kendall today. I think Brian as Kendall, you were great.
Thank you. You were all great. Don't get me wrong. You were all great. I just can't think of anything. Y'all are. I see this one as a. Is there anything you want to you want to lean into? And I thought you all were perfect. So no complaints about that.
Nice. Especially since we've been gone for so long, it was good to be able to get back into it as much as we were able to.
Yeah, it was like slipping on the glove for me. You all felt you all may have had issues getting into character, but when you were in the character, I wouldn't have known the difference. It's like we played last week. So as far as I could tell,
other than memory, it felt pretty good. So. If you could change one thing about the session, what would be it being 8 weeks ago does not count.
Does longer count? That's my usual no.
Yeah, that would be a valid one. I can't think of a better spot to have ended that.
No, that was good.
Yeah. No, I think that was a good ending. I think the only thing I would change, and I don't really think I'd change it, is I wanted to do the scene. I went into this thinking I was going to do the scene with Delphine today, but there wasn't really a place that felt appropriate.
Right.
That definitely felt more like a Dasavi is backburnering this because we have more important shit to do. But we'll get there.
Yeah.
We'll have that scene.
I have very much enjoyed this arc, but I am looking forward to wrapping up this arc so we can move forward. Don't get me wrong. I very much enjoyed the arc. Don't get me wrong.
There's still more to do. We have opened up another arc by doing some of the things we've done. So I don't know where this is going to go. I know where I want the story overall to go, but this particular story arc has kind of grown a mind of its own, and I'm curious to see how it all plays out, which is good. I like that. It's good for me because I like the idea of not necessarily knowing what's going to happen next. Like I know where I want to take things, but I don't know what you guys are going to do next. And I like seeing, I like not necessarily seeing exactly what's going to happen in every scene. I think that's fantastic. And it's hard for a GM sometimes to find those moments in a game where you're genuinely surprised by the story that's going to happen. But I think that's where we're at right now. And I like it. I'm a fan. So
yeah, I'm a fan too. I think this may have been one of the things I answered this question previously, and I just want to reiterate it. I would love high stakes. Like I would love it if this psychic, whatever is happening to her, has a chance of killing Kendall. Let's put some stakes into this stuff.
Well, there will definitely be some stakes.
Cool.
And some other stuff coming on because this is a thing that affects 3 people or more, probably more.
Yeah, don't forget the Borg.
There's a lot going on. I'll let you guys process the descriptions of things that happened because there were things that were said that were meant to be said, and we'll go from there. So I don't have anything else unless you guys do. I think we can go ahead and call it a night.
It's good to play with y'all. I miss playing with you.
It's good to be back.
Yeah, I've been mostly looking forward to getting back to this, but I've also been dreading the idea of coming back to this because I was not 100% sure I was ready. Like the energy, it's the last few months have been so busy. The last few months really have been so incredibly busy. I have a lot of stuff has slipped through the cracks on my end, not just in this game, but like some of the podcast stuff I was doing hasn't been getting done. A lot of self-care hasn't been getting done. But yeah, that's not this game's fault, and I need to I don't know, drink more beer, I think is the real answer here. Just to relax more and get more in tune with nothing.
Right.
For what it's worth, I thought you did great. So
I really do enjoy this game. Like it's
Mm-hmm.
nothing like that. It's just, my God, there's a spoon shortage in the world.
Right. Yes, there is.
So
No, I was kind of in dread mode today as well, and it really had nothing to do with the game and just more to do with the absolute ridiculous day I had. I was like, it's one more thing, and I don't want to do it. But I'm really glad that I did not cancel, and glad that everything worked out with the plumbing,
Mhm.
that the contractor left in time.
yeah.
Because once we were in it, I felt a lot better.
Mhm. Yeah, I let myself just fall into character because I've been so out of the place. So I'm glad I had characters that have been through this so long, and I've interacted with other very well-defined characters that I could just kind of fall backwards into them, because I really needed to take Jack away from the equation in all of this, because Jack's losing his mind right now. It's
Right.
all over the place, but Ambrose is fine.
I'm comforted by the fact that we as a group have I always, not always, but I often dread coming to this game right until we start playing, and then I'm like, this is a good group. I really like what we're doing here.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm grateful to you guys for that. I'm grateful to the people who watch and listen to the show. It really does mean a lot, especially for those of you who support us on Patreon, or just send us emails, or just listen to the show and make comments on Facebook and stuff like that. It does really help. Evelyn, I want to give my condolences. We didn't play last week because doggo tragedies. You got a new doggo now, though?
I do.
And is he a jerk to your cats? That's what it sounded like earlier.
Yeah, Shumiki came in here and Bugsy chased him, and Shumiki took refuge under the desk.
Yeah.
Bugsy headbutted my knee in my attempt to get him the hell out of here.
Yeah. Well, congratulations on rescuing another puppy, because they need it when they need it.
They do, and he's a good boy. He is. Thank you guys I appreciate it. I know last week everybody was excited to come back, and I would not have been okay. Yeah. I probably would have just cried for like 4 hours.
Yeah.
On screen, which is, some people are into that. I don't know.
That's a fans only page, not a YouTube. Some people are into certain things. I don't know. Don't judge, Jack. All right, I got nothing else. Do you guys have anything else you want to add before we go? Anything else you want to say? Anyone you want to thank? Anybody like that? Jack, you got the tell people where they can find the fundraiser stuff.
Yes, I have my month of one-shots, my month-long, all of July month of one-shots charity drive for reproductive rights and abortion access, specifically in support of the National Abortion Federation and the Center for Reproductive Rights. I should have a flyer up on my tiny little screen over there. Come hang out with me and a whole bunch of people over on my own channel, twitch.tv/thepeoplesascension. It's not just the normal crew. I am bringing in all kinds of other GMs, all kinds of other games. We have big name games like D&D, Monster Hearts. We have smaller indie games like Veil of the Void, and even much smaller ones, a lot of one pages that we're doing, all the way up to large indie designed work. All very good stuff. I'm really looking forward to meeting a lot of new people, playing with new people, playing new games, and just getting a lot more, expanding our horizons, expanding our perspective of gaming and the people we game with, all for a very good cause. Yeah. And of course, if you can, you do not need to wait for July. I would love it if you stop by and you donate during the stream, but go and help out any way you can. And if you are a game creator, a GM, a crafter, or a nerdy business person of any kind, get in touch with me. Come hang out on Twitter @PPLS Ascension. Send me a message, and we'll talk about how to get you in.
Yeah, we'll have a discussion, you and I. I think I have a Klingon core rulebook around here that I can give away.
Awesome.
A special edition one, in fact. Never been opened. So we'll see what we can do. Other than that, Again, I want to thank everybody. Check us out on YouTube. You can also check us out on the audio only podcast. Find me at Studio Tembo. It's linktree/Studio Tembo. There will be a link in the show notes. And that's all I got. So goodbye, everybody. So long, and thanks for all the fish.
Yeah.
Oh, I can't get to the button. Oh, all right.
Oh,
There we
no.
go.